What if everything you thought you knew about strength was wrong? What if the greatest power wasn't in physical prowess, but in the relentless excavation of your own inner landscape? I'm Andrew Huberman, and today, we're not just talking about accomplishments, we're peeling back the layers of a life forged in fire with David Goggins. David is, of course, a retired Navy SEAL, a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, an ultramarathon runner who routinely pushes the boundaries of human endurance, and the author of the bestsellers Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished. But the David Goggins you think you know, the one you see conquering physical challenges, is merely the visible outcome of a deeply internal war. A war he fights every single moment of every single day. David, welcome. It's great to have you back. Thanks for having me, Albro. It was late 2016, early 2017 when we first connected. And even then, I sensed a force that transcended the extraordinary feats you'd already achieved. You're constantly learning, constantly evolving, currently immersed in the intricate world of medicine. What drives this perpetual quest for knowledge? Most people see the running, the pull-ups, the yelling. But that's just a fraction of it. My day is segmented. Work, eat, sleep, study. And the studying, that's where it gets real. I'm diving deep into the mechanics of the body, the intricacies of paramedicine. Not just to be a paramedic, but to understand it. To dissect it. To know exactly what's happening and how to respond. I'm trying to learn the algorithm of life itself. That's fascinating. Because biology isn't just about nouns. The heart, the lungs, the brain, it's about the verbs. It's about how those pieces interact, how they function. And your approach to learning seems remarkably deliberate. Can you walk us through your process? What does it feel like inside your head when you're grappling with complex medical concepts? It's not natural. It's a constant fight. I wasn't built for this. I'll be blunt. My brain, it doesn't retain information easily. I'm at the bottom of the barrel, genetically speaking. But I've learned to compensate. I write everything down, over and over, until it's burned into my memory. Photographic recall, born of sheer repetition. Then I revisit, relearn, reinforce. It's grueling. But that's the point. It has to be. Because the alternative, giving in to the limitations I was born with, is unacceptable. You've talked before about a transformation that began in your 20s, a pivotal moment when you realized you were spiraling. You were overweight, stuck in a dead-end job. But it wasn't a sudden epiphany, was it? It wasn't a motivational speech that changed your life. It was a brutal internal reckoning. It wasn't about finding motivation. It was about facing the absolute truth of my situation. I was broken. I was lost. And I knew deep down that if I didn't do something drastic, I was going to remain broken. It wasn't about becoming a Navy SEAL or an ultramarathon runner. It was about refusing to accept a life of quiet desperation. It was about choosing struggle over stagnation. And that struggle, as you describe it, isn't about finding some hidden reservoir of strength. It's about building it, brick by agonizing brick. It's about creating a new internal architecture. Exactly. And that architecture is built on friction. Constant, unrelenting friction. Most people avoid discomfort. They seek pleasure, ease, convenience. But I realized that growth only happens in the space between where you are and where you want to be. And that space, it's filled with pain, with doubt, with the constant voice telling you to quit. You've often talked about this inner dialogue, this constant negotiation with your own demons. It sounds exhausting. Is it always a battle? Always. It never stops. People think I'm some kind of superhuman, but that's a myth. I'm just relentless. I force myself to confront those demons, to acknowledge them, to dissect them. And then I choose to move forward anyway. It's a daily, hourly, sometimes even minute-by-minute struggle. It's the difference between being driven by your fears and driving over your fears. And it's not about positive self-talk, is it? It's not about affirmations. It's about something far more raw and honest. Affirmations are bullshit. They're a temporary band-aid on a gaping wound. You need to dig into the wound, clean it out, stitch it up. You need to confront the ugly truth about yourself. And that truth is often painful. But it's also liberating. It's the foundation upon which you build a new life. You've repeatedly emphasized the importance of discipline, of pushing yourself beyond your perceived limits. But what about the moments when that discipline falters? When the voice of doubt becomes overwhelming? What do you do then? I don't allow myself the luxury of faltering. I don't give the voice of doubt a foothold. I acknowledge it, I analyze it, and then I obliterate it. It's not about suppressing those feelings. It's about refusing to let them control you. It's about reminding myself of who I am, what I'm capable of, and what I'm fighting for. There's a fascinating neurological component to all of this. Recent research suggests that the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, a small structure deep within the brain, plays a crucial role in willpower and resilience. It actually grows when we consistently do things we don't want to do. The more we push ourselves, the stronger it becomes. It's almost as if our brains are designed to adapt to hardship. That's incredible. That explains so much. Because it's not about innate talent or willpower. It's about building that muscle, strengthening that circuit. It's about consistently choosing the harder path, even when it feels impossible. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, not because the task itself gets easier, but because you get stronger. Precisely. And that growth is not linear. There will be setbacks, plateaus, moments of intense frustration. But the key is to keep showing up, to keep pushing, to keep challenging yourself. Because every time you overcome an obstacle, you're not just building physical strength, you're building mental resilience. You're building a bigger, more robust anterior mid-cingulate cortex. You've mentioned before that you often feel misunderstood. People see the accomplishments, the ultramarathons, the Guinness World Records, but they don't see the years of relentless work, the internal battles, the sacrifices you've made. What's the biggest misconception people have about David Goggins? That it's about motivation. That I woke up one day and decided to be great. That's a myth. It's about elimination. It's about eliminating everything that holds you back. It's about stripping away the excuses, the self-doubt, the limiting beliefs. It's about confronting your demons and choosing to move forward anyway. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. It's often painful. but it's the only way to unlock your true potential. And that process, that relentless pursuit of self-improvement, comes at a cost. You've spoken about the impact it has on your relationships, on your personal life. You prioritize the work, the struggle, even at the expense of other things. It's a trade-off. I make sure my family has everything they need. But I also protect my time, my space, my ability to focus. I have to. Because if I don't, I lose myself. I become someone I don't recognize. And that's not fair to anyone. It's a delicate balance. But it's a balance I'm willing to maintain. You've described it as creating a fortress around yourself, a protective barrier that allows you to pursue your goals without distraction. But that fortress can also be isolating. Does that ever bother you? It does. But I've learned to accept it. I understand that not everyone will understand my journey. Not everyone will support my choices. And that's okay. I have to prioritize my own growth, my own transformation. And if that means sacrificing certain relationships or opportunities, then so be it. I have to stay true to myself. There's this idea that we're all looking for our purpose, our calling. But you seem to suggest that purpose isn't something you find, it's something you create. It's something you forge through struggle and adversity. Exactly. Purpose isn't a destination, it's a process. It's about constantly challenging yourself, constantly pushing your boundaries, constantly striving to become a better version of yourself. And that process is never finished. That's why my second book is called Never Finished. Because there's always more work to be done, more obstacles to overcome, more growth to achieve. And what about setbacks? What about the inevitable moments of failure? How do you navigate those? Failure is inevitable. It's part of the process. The key is to learn from your failures, to analyze what went wrong, and to use that knowledge to improve. I don't dwell on my failures, I dissect them. I treat them as data points. And I use that data to refine my strategy, to strengthen my resolve, to push myself even harder. I teach myself how to fail so that when failure inevitably comes, I'm prepared to handle it. You've built a life around discomfort, around pushing yourself to the absolute limit. But is there a point where that becomes unsustainable? Is there a point where you have to step back and prioritize rest and recovery? I push myself to the edge, but I also listen to my body. I know when to push harder and when to pull back. It's a delicate balance. I prioritize sleep, nutrition, and recovery. But I don't prioritize comfort. I don't shy away from challenges. I embrace them. Because I know that it's through those challenges that I grow, that I learn, that I become stronger. You've become a symbol of resilience, of mental toughness for millions of people. But you've also emphasized that your journey is not for everyone. What would you say to someone who's struggling, who feels overwhelmed, who doesn't know where to start? I would tell them to start small. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Just pick one thing, one small habit, one tiny change, and commit to it. And then build from there. Start with something manageable, something achievable. And then gradually increase the difficulty, the intensity. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. It's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. But it's worth it. Because on the other side of that struggle lies a life of purpose, of fulfillment, of true freedom. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is this: the strength you seek isn't out there, it's within you. It's not about finding it, it's about building it. It's about embracing the struggle, confronting your demons, and refusing to give up on yourself. David Goggins, thank you for sharing your story, your insights, your unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of human potential. It's been an honor. Thanks for having me, Albro. That was David Goggins. If you're feeling inspired or perhaps a little bit terrified, I encourage you to explore his books, Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished. You'll find links in the show notes. And remember, the journey to self-improvement is not about finding a quick fix or a magic bullet. It's about embracing the long, hard, and often uncomfortable process of becoming the best version of yourself. It's about cleaning out those internal cupboards, facing your demons, and building a fortress of resilience that can withstand any storm. And it's about remembering always that you are capable of far more than you think you are. Thank you for listening.